Okay, guys, in this video, we are going to continue solving quadratic equations by factoring. I've got 4x squared minus 81 equal to 0. As usual, we need to make sure that the right-hand side contains just 0 and nothing else, because otherwise you cannot start factoring, and it does. So now we're going to try to factor the left-hand side. What you can do is notice that here we have what's called the difference of squares pattern. So how do I know that? I can see that 4 is 2 squared, and I can also recognize that 81 is 9 squared. So it seems like there are squares, and there's something going on with that. So 4 is 2 squared, and x squared is x squared. So we can combine that into 2x, and the whole quantity is squared. So remember that when you have a product of two things and you square it, that means that each part is squared. So if I were to distribute that, that will be 4x squared. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. Okay, minus, then 81. We also know that that's a squared of something. What is the something? 9. So now we have something called difference of squares pattern that you need to know. And difference of squares pattern looks like this. Whenever you have a squared minus b squared, that's a minus b multiplied by a plus b. So we do have the situation here. So we've got something squared minus something else squared. Now, if students do not notice that this is really a difference of squares and we're supposed to use this formula, very common mistake I see is to just say, well, that's going to be 2x minus 9 squared. And then I just distribute the square to each one. But that does not work because 2x minus 9 squared is really the same thing as 2x minus 9 multiplied by 2x minus 9. But if you try to FOIL that gives you 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared. Well, that's so far so good. Then we got 2x times negative 9. That's negative 18x. Then we get negative 9 times 2x. That's another negative 18x. And then we got this one, negative 9 times negative 9. That's actually positive 81. So nothing here works because, first of all, we get the positive 81, not a negative 81. And also these two guys don't factor. That's negative 36x. So this is not correct. This is not correct. So you need to understand that when you have a difference of squares, we factor it by using the difference of squares pattern. So this should be 2x minus 9 multiplied by 2x plus 9. Okay, and that's going to be equal to 0. So how do I know this is right? Well, I can again use FOIL. What is 2x times 2x? That's 4x squared. Then what is 2x times 9? Well, that's plus 18x. Then what is negative 9 times 2x? Well, that's negative 18x. And finally, what is negative 9 times positive 9? That would be negative 81. And notice how this part cancels out and we get the original equation, which means that we are correct. Okay, so now that we factored it, and so let's fill that out. So we got 2x minus 9 multiplied by 2x plus 9. Now we make that equal 0. So remember again, on the right hand side, we must have 0 in order to use the zero factor property. So that means either the first factor equals 0, which is 2x minus 9, or the second factor equals 0, which is 2x plus 9. And we set each of them equals 0 and solve that for x. So first we're going to add 9 to both sides. We get 2x equals to positive 9. So this cancels out. And then on this side, we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. So we get 2x equals negative 9. Okay, so to solve this first equation, we divide both sides by 2. So we get 9 halves. And then the other one, also dividing that by 2, we get negative 9 halves. Okay, so this looks like it, and also because they want to reduce fractions, you need to make sure that the fraction you get is reduced fully. So if you want to check that on a calculator, you can just go ahead and enter 9 over 2, and then click on the little thingy to convert it to a fraction, and because it's the same, that means it's already reduced. So that's 9 halves, and negative 9 halves are my answers. Now, I also want to check that out by plugging it into the original equation. And when you plug it, put whatever you are plugging in parentheses. So I just put the 9/2 there and I get a 0. If I put a negative 9/2, I also get a 0. So that means I got this right.